and welcome back to Focal Point AFR Talk. Number to call if you want to join our conversation on this Free-for-All Friday is 888-589-8840. A couple more sound bites on the Benghazi deal. Clip 8, this is Jason Chaffetz, and this is a hearing at the House. Now, Krauthammer says it was kind of disorganized, but you still had some people I thought were kind of bringing the lumber. Jason Chaffetz, one of those guys that's just fearless, and he goes right after the truth. And Jason Chaffetz is talking yesterday that he was in possession of an email that was sent on September 12, 2012 at 12:46 p.m. Now, I think that's 12:46 p.m. Eastern time. So this is just hours after the Benghazi attack. I mean, the Benghazi attack started at 5 o'clock Washington time. It lasted for 7 to 9 hours before the whole thing was over. And this is an email, and Jason Chaffetz will set it up, but this is an email that was addressed to Victoria Nuland, Patrick Kennedy, Cheryl Mills, and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton's chief of staff from the State Department. They all got this email on September 12, day after, just hours after the thing had finished. Here is Jason Chaffetz talking about what's in this email.
It's a document that's listed as unclassified. It's a State Department document previously referenced by Congressman Trey Gowdy. And the subject line is Libya update from Beth Jones. The date is September 12th at 12:46 p.m. There's a paragraph in here that I think is pertinent to our discussions today. It's referencing the Libyan ambassador when he said his government suspected that former Gaddafi regime elements carried out the attacks. I told him that the group that conducted the attacks, Ansar al-Sharia, is affiliated with Islamic extremists, end quote.
Now, it's amazing to me. I mean, there's another smoking gun. That's another smoking gun. This is an email from a Libya update. This is coming from Libya. This is to the State Department, everybody in the State Department, including Hillary Clinton's chief of staff, saying at 12:46 p.m. the next day, 12:46 p.m., the very next day, you have this email coming from Libya. It's an update on the ground in Libya. This is where we're at in Libya. This is just hours after the attack was over and the 4 Americans were dead. The group that conducted the attacks, Ansar al-Sharia, is affiliated with Islamic extremists. They're affiliated with Al-Qaeda. So here's a State Department communication saying, look, it was Ansar al-Sharia, and they knew this at 12:46 p.m. on September 12. It wasn't until September 15 that Susan Rice went out and told repeatedly on all 5 Sunday shows the lies that this had something to do with an internet video when the State Department knew better. And that may be one of the reasons why they sent Susan Rice out. I mean, she was a UN ambassador. She wasn't part of the State Department. She wasn't part of the intelligence community. And I think maybe the reason that they sent her out there is that they could lie to her and she wouldn't know that she was being lied to. She wasn't in the internal circles of communication. They didn't want anybody that knew the truth to go out there and tell these lies. They wanted somebody to go out there that actually thought they were telling the truth. And that was Susan Rice. She just got played. She just got used. She just got manipulated, assuming she didn't know the truth about what was going on. Now, this is Wolf Blitzer clip 9. And, you know, one of the questions is, how come Obama hasn't gone after any of these people? You know, he said, we're going to hunt them down to the ends of the earth. Justice is going to be done. We're going to find them. We're going to take them out. How come nothing, I mean zero, zip, nothing has been done? Now, the Obama administration might be inclined to say, well, it's just too hard to find these people. They've gone into hiding. We can't locate them. It's a foreign country. We have limited assets on the ground. And so we're having a tough time finding them. Listen to this. This is Wolf Blitzer. This is CNN. This is August 1st, 2013. So we're coming up almost on a full year after that. We're 9-10 months, whatever, from August 1st. And here is Wolf Blitzer. Listen to this segment from CNN.
For the first time, you're going to hear from a suspect in September's deadly attack on a U.S. compound in Benghazi, Libya, the attack that killed the United States Ambassador Chris Stevens and 3 other Americans. The man is not in jail. He's walking around freely. U.S. authorities haven't been able to catch up with him, but CNN's Arwa Damon did. When that news hit Capitol Hill today, there was sharp reaction.
News out today that CNN was able to go in and talk to one of the suspect terrorists. How come the military hasn't been able to get after them and capture or kill these people? How come the FBI isn't doing this? And yet CNN is.
So CNN's chief national correspondent John King is standing by with more on what's going on Capitol Hill. The reaction, our senior international correspondent Arwa Damon is in Cairo right now. Arwa, I want to play part of your report about meeting this man in Benghazi.
U.S. officials have often suggested that they would be interested in speaking to a man named Ahmed Abu Khatala about the events the night of the attack. He's really not that difficult to find. We met with Ahmed Abu Khatala in public at the coffee shop of a well-known hotel here in Benghazi for around 2 hours. He seemed to be confident, his demeanor most certainly not that of a man who believed that he was going to be detained or targeted anytime soon.
So, that was Jason Chaffetz's point. He's the other voice you heard on the video. Look, if CNN can track this guy down, why can't President Obama? If he is so determined to procure justice for these 4 dead Americans, if this matters so much to him, if he's going to pursue them to the ends of the earth until justice is done, why doesn't he go pick them up at this coffee shop in Libya? They're out there for 2 hours. The guy obviously had no fear of being apprehended by U.S. authorities. We talked about this back at the time, that foreign journalists were interviewed. He was sipping Mai Tais or whatever out on the patio of a luxury hotel in Benghazi, didn't even leave town. He wasn't afraid that the Americans were going to come after him whatsoever. One congressman said, I want to go get these guys, and somebody and a member of the military said, we don't have the authority to do that. That is just wrong. And I'm going to just mention this for a second, then we're going to get back to the phones. But there is an obscure phrase in the Constitution that gives Congress the authority basically to put out a contract on an enemy of the United States. This is in Article 1, Section 8. It's about paragraph 11 or so. The powers of Congress, first is to declare war. The second thing is to grant letters of marque and reprisal. Letters of marque and reprisal. Now, you declare war when you're going up against another country, when you're declaring war on a foreign power that is at war with you. What's a letter of marque and reprisal? The letter of marque and reprisal is something that Congress can issue when the attack is not coming from a country, but it's coming from an individual or it's coming from a group of individuals. This is why we could take out Osama bin Laden. I don't know if this was ever appealed to, resorted to, but what Obama could do, well, he'd have to go to Congress for this, but what Congress could do is they could issue a letter of marque and reprisal. Say, we authorize U.S. military assets, we authorize them to go and take this guy out. That is basically a declaration of war on an individual who is an enemy of the United States. You don't declare war on the whole country if they're not at war with you, but you issue a letter of marque and reprisal. What's reprisal? That's where you're getting even with somebody for what they did to the United States. Congress can do it. They could do it this afternoon. They could issue a letter of marque and reprisal for the very guy that CNN was talking to there on the plaza in Benghazi. Letter of marque and reprisal. It can be done. It should be done. That's how we have the legal authority to deal with terrorists. All right, let's go to Ernest in Muskegon, Michigan. Ernest, welcome. What's on your mind?
Yeah, Brian, how you doing, brother?
Good. How are you?
Good, Brian. You know what? I really thank God for your intelligence and your station. And you know what, man, I'm just so tired of the quickness of our government lies. But I want to talk about something I think you commented on last week. I think you were talking about the second coming of Christ, and you had made the statement that you didn't believe in the secret rapture. And I don't either, man. You know, I believe there's one more coming of Christ, and I think a lot of these pastors have these saints believing that he's coming any day for the goody two-shoes when thousands around the world, even as we speak, are being persecuted for righteousness' sake. I do believe that the mark of the beast and the tribulation is yet to come, but I'm like you, Brian. I don't believe in a secret rapture for the goody two-shoes when thousands have been persecuted, even back during the times of the Inquisition and all that kind of stuff that people really don't talk about in churches today. So I just really thank God for your comment on that, and just keep up the good work, Brian.
All right. Well, listen, thank you, Ernest. I appreciate that. And again, my view is that the one prophecy that has to be fulfilled before Jesus can come back is the mass conversion of the Jews. I don't have a quarrel with my friends. Most of my very, very good friends theologically are persuaded of a pre-tribulation rapture and all that. I've got no beef with them. I've got no interest in getting into a quarrel with them. We're not going to know who's right until it's too late to matter, but that is where I come out on the issue. One last call before we're done with this segment. Let's go to Vin, Durant, Oklahoma. Vin, welcome. What's on your mind? Hey, Vin, you with me?
Yes.
Yes, go right ahead.
First of all, Nancy Pelosi. My question to her would be, what would she be saying if she had a son that was killed in Benghazi?
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, Hillary Clinton. You know, ever since her husband was president of the United States, she's just been hanging around Washington, D.C. for all these years. And my question is, since she became Secretary of State, I'd like to know if anybody can name me one accomplishment that she has accomplished.
Well,
just one.
Well, you know, and it's interesting, Van. You know, you got a lot of company there, and we've played some sound bites on this program where a spokesman for the State Department, Jen Psaki, and, you know, I look at these people that are representing the State Department, and I'm telling you, Van, it looks to me, they remind me of a student council in high school. There's no depth, there's no wisdom, there's no experience, there's no maturity. They seem to me like sophomores running foreign policy for the most powerful nation in the world. It's embarrassing. They're like kindergartners doing this. And Jen Psaki was asked that question you're talking about, Vin. What can you name me one achievement of Hillary Clinton? Could not do it. She was asked again the next day by a reporter from Associated Press, could not do it again. Morning Joe panel, all these are hardcore libs, supporters of Hillary Clinton. They were asked on this panel discussion, what is one accomplishment for Hillary Clinton? They could not name one single solitary accomplishment as Secretary of State that would qualify her to be our president. Great call, Vin. Thank you. Back in Tuesday with us.